Wow. Welcome to Marty Time TV. Happy Monday. What's up, Darren Smith? How are you? It's been a long time. I haven't seen you since, well, it's been a couple of weeks since we had the roundtable with Ted Leitner, who thankfully lives to go ahead and call at least one more game.
Martha, what's going on? Good to see you. Good to chat with you again. I'm sitting in the same exact position I was for that. By the way, funny story afterwards. I don't think he'd get mad at me for sharing this, but anybody who watched that video knew that or saw that Ted was not the most technologically advanced human being on planet Earth.
Mm-hmm.
He sent me a text message like 2 days later. It said, "Hey, I didn't realize you were on that stream, but thanks so much if you said something nice."
I think that he cut out when Trevor Hoffman was talking as well. When you cut out, and you had the best story. You had the best story of the entire Ted Leitner appreciation thing. So he knew Bochy was on there, and he knew Buddy Black, and he knew that it was me because I arranged it. Other than that, he had no clue. So it was the most Teddy moment of all time. And you sent me a text on, when was State eliminated? On Thursday, right? Not eliminated, at the conference, that you were listening to what could have been Ted Leitner's final broadcast. I mean, could you imagine? I know Aztec fans were on pins and needles this weekend, not knowing if they were going to make it. Of course, their first four in, they're going to play tomorrow. But if you're Ted Leitner, how do you sign off on your broadcast thinking, this could be the final broadcast of my entire career? I'm going to go ahead and say thank you to the fans and my broadcasters and the Padres and San Diego State. Or I might be back, maybe?
I don't know. Maybe I was just imagining things because I've listened to enough Ted during these Aztec broadcasts to know that he sounds like he can get a little stressed at times, right? Like, you know, he's going through it with the team, right? When the team, let's say, like they're in some sort of shooting drought, there's some sort of shooting funk. Like Ted, Ted, like he's wearing it on the broadcast, as they say, and you can just tell, like he's like, oh. And then at the tail end of that, again, and like I wasn't making any predictions. I haven't really followed Joe Lenardi and the bracketologist all that much to know exactly what San Diego State's positioning was.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, at least there was a chance that that they were not going to make the field of 68, right?
Yeah.
So they got in to play in Dayton against North Carolina, which I think is a great opportunity. But I was listening to it and I was like, Ted's got his regular level of stress, or am I imagining this? Is Ted like extra stressed because there is a chance that this really could be it? And, I don't know who would or wouldn't transfer or who might have more NIL opportunities in another market. So, even the fallback of the NIT seems like it's not so much a fallback anymore. But anyway, I'm glad. I thought this was probably the best case scenario. And I think they're actually on a flight now. If John Schaefer's social media is to be believed, that that guy will ditch Jim Russell for anything. But
who wouldn't? Wouldn't we all?
Yeah, we love them. But they're on their way to Dayton, so I'm really stoked about that. I think it's it's rushed, obviously, but I'm glad at least selfishly, and I think for a lot of people who grew up like yourself with much more experience listening to Ted, I'm glad he gets another opportunity.
Me too. By the way, Darren, I know this is, I don't want to misspeak for you. Is this your favorite week of the year? I mean, you're a huge college basketball fan, and as we all know, it's so much more fun when your team is in the dance. So locally, San Diego State, an amazing story in UCSD, and playing Michigan, of course, their first year of eligibility, and that's going to be like the Cinderella darlings if they can even get past Michigan. But how fun is this for you with your Johnnies, man? Number 2 seed in the East.
I know, it's crazy.
Woo!
2 seed in the West, actually.
I'm sorry, the West. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, only the NCAA would you be in the West, and you'd start in Providence, Rhode Island. And then if you advance through the first couple of games, you'll play in San Francisco.
Right.
Have I checked flights to San Francisco for next weekend? Yes, I've checked flights to San Francisco. And
Whose couch? Have you Damon Bruce? Have you asked him? Can you sleep on his couch?
No, not yet. Have I like talked to Leah about planning a wine trip potentially around that weekend? Yes.
There you go.
Like
Very smart.
But listen, when the season started, Marty, like it's been such a drought for St. John's. Like, if you would have put in front of me just go to the tournament and maybe win a game, I would have been like, yeah, of course. As Shildt would say, boom, check. Where do I sign for that? That they played so well and they won the Big East regular season title for the first time in, almost 40 years, and the tournament title for the first time since 2000. It's bonkers, like our dude Jay Riff was texting me this morning. He's like, hey, like I have people like Jay Riff who are texting like, oh, I'm thinking about like St. John's to the Final Four, filling out my bracket. Like, how good are they? I'm like, what world is this? Like this isn't normal. This doesn't feel normal. So,
right.
It's been great. Like I've lived through San Diego State vicariously, loving, Coach Fisher and Brian Dutcher and Dave Velasquez, so it's been cool to be, sitting and covering that and rooting for those guys. But to have it be your alma mater, as right? It's great. And it makes me nervous. It makes me nervous because I haven't watched a ton of college basketball to know how they stack up against like Tennessee. And I see Kansas looming in that second round. And it just instinctually makes me nervous. But I think they're pretty good, and he's a great coach. And he's been to the Final Four every place he's been, from Providence to Kentucky and Louisville. So I don't know. It's just been an amazing thing. Is it my favorite week of the year? Yeah. I mean, it's up there, the Thursday and Friday of the opening weekend of March Madness, there's nothing like it, and if you're local too, like you get started early, get started on Tuesday night, like in a standalone game against North Carolina. What a great opportunity that is for the Aztecs. So yeah, I mean, it's, you could ask me this question 10 times a year and I'd be like, yes, this is the best week of the year, but like this is one of the best weeks of the year for sure.
There's like that nervous anticipation. Like today just feels different. And maybe it's because there's a lot. Number one, it was a great sports week. And I do want to get to SDFC. I love the background behind you.
Thank you.
And to your surprise, the Padres just named Michael King as the opening day starter. Darren, we will get to your favorite thing. I know you've missed these press conference because I actually have some footage I want to go ahead and play for you so you can hear it almost in real time as it happened. But I thought that this okay, real quick, what would be a good, I hate this question, but I love this question, right? We always do this. What would be a good outcome for San Diego State?
Yeah, I mean, I think play well against North Carolina, and I'm sure
just win one, get out of the play-in game. Is that
I mean, it's and then where would the I think it would be Ole Miss, and it would be in Milwaukee. So it doesn't even seem like it's that far from Dayton, right? These are two Midwest cities. Yeah, I mean, I think if you can, the thing about the playing game, though, and I also know Brian Dutcher well enough to know, and so do you, like they wouldn't want us to like lower expectations. For him, he's like, well, we expect to win. They're going there expecting to win against North Carolina, only the third winningest college basketball program of all time, right? I think, I think the thing about playing does the NCAA tournament still call them the first round games, or do they call them like they don't call them the play-in games? Cause then it feels like,
they changed that. I think like 2 years ago.
Yeah. So I think they call them the first round game. But the thing about playing in Dayton is, at times it can be a little bit of a running start into the NCAA tournament. VCU went on a little bit of a run. UCLA went on a little bit of a run from Dayton. So, I think that's, I think winning, certainly getting out of Dayton would be great. And then you take your chances against, I think it's Ole Miss, right? Do I have that right? I don't have the bracket in front of me, but
yes.
Yeah.
Shocking,
I mean,
Darren.
Yeah, it's life's so much better when you don't fill these stupid brackets
I've been telling you this for years, not just because I always came out with the impossible outcome.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I don't know. You're an Aztec. You tell me. This is a team that played for a national championship a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
I don't want to say like, well, just getting in is enough. I think always, I think they're probably a program that says if we don't make it to the second weekend, we're disappointed. But this is also a really, really young team.
Yep.
And I think that needs to be factored in. This isn't I mean, they have seniors, but it's a young nucleus. So yeah, I don't know. I just think, man, it's like what a cherry on top if you can beat North Carolina on a standalone game a day. Like, wow, that'd be great. But I know them well enough to know, Marty, and so do you. They will tell you if we're not hanging a banner for a conference championship, regular season or tournament, that's what you come to San Diego State to accomplish. And it doesn't mean that you're going to do it every year. Probably over the span of your career at San Diego State is how you want to do that. But yeah, I mean, I would call it a successful season, if they get out of this.
I know you would, and I can almost hear, as you were saying that, Darren, I could literally hear Brian Dutcher's voice in my head in the background saying that, that they're glad that they have raised the expectations of Aztecs fans. We want our fans to be disappointed, if they're not playing for a national championship, or with the expectation they should be there in the second weekend. But when you lose the way you did to Boise State, and they had to wait until Sunday, along with a nervous Uncle Teddy, as to whether or not they're in or they're out, or perhaps the NIT, I just think that, man, you get to tomorrow night, play well. All right, fingers crossed. Anything can happen. It's a wide open tournament. I think it's a good outcome. All right, I can talk about a lot of things right now. Let's see, SDFC, Padres. How about we do this? It's the perfect combination of both. Darren, if the Padres miss the playoffs this year, is it because a bunch of the players, led by Manny Machado, took a private jet after a spring training game to take in SDFC?
Obviously, Marty, their priorities are not in the right place.
Clearly.
And all you have to do is look at some of these batting averages from these underachievers to know that them taking a PJ on a Saturday night to San Diego and then eating a bunch of In-N-Out burger on their way back tells you all you need to know about their motivation. Yes. No, absolutely not. I thought it was great. I mean, I think it's great when you have teams in the market that celebrate other teams in the market, whether you have a connection to it or not.
Sorry, I'm getting that's some video from our guy Alex Aguilar that he sent when the Padres walked in, and I'm still figuring out how to mute this stuff.
Yeah, that blew my ears out on that one.
I'm so sorry about that. That was like, I was so, number one, I wish I could have been there. I was there for the opener, which was fantastic. I really wish I could have been there for that scene, because it was cool. Yeah, it was really, really cool, Darren. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I'm just thinking about like the whole relationship, like of what teams, Major League, what it means for a community. Like, and I remember like when we had the Chargers here, you want the Chargers for the Padres to do well in the postseason and vice versa. And that was kind of surreal for me to see that sort of the outpouring from Manny, of course, wanting his teammates involved with SDFC, and I know Jackson Merrill was, this is awesome. San Diego deserves. We need more Major League teams. We need the NFL back. I thought that was so freaking cool.
Yeah, and I don't even think it has to be linked at all to Manny Machado being part of ownership there.
No.
I just think it's cool when other teams in town support other teams.
Yep.
This is something that you can see in other markets. It's something that you see. You mentioned even having Padres supporting Chargers back in the day, right? We used to see a lot of the Padres tailgating in the parking lots at Qualcomm Stadium, and then during baseball season, it was really, really common to see Chargers in the clubhouse after the games.
Chris Dillman.
It's a really cool thing. And, I don't think it's something that has to just be it just doesn't have to be because of Manny. I just think it's a cool thing. Like, you want the market to really show out. So like, I loved it. I thought it was really cool. And I don't think it matters at all. Who's paying attention to spring training stats?
Okay. I'm sorry. Have you been on Twitter recently? I know you're taking
not really.
Well, congratulations. I know you're taking a time out for that, but just like, I knew that like right away, if they lost a meaningless spring training game the next day, or they looked sluggish, or someone didn't run to first base full speed, it's because they were distracted by SDFC. Of course, the Dodger fans, of course, are chirping because that's what Dodger fans do. Hey, I'm so glad that the Padres are distracted with a soccer team rather than baseball. I mean, for anyway.
Yeah.
You want to tell Darren what Major League players do after a spring training game? Like when they leave, they leave during the game because the game doesn't matter.
Well, no, not Jackson Merrill, though.
No, not Jackson Merrill.
I rather Jackson Merrill stays there all the way, He's there to the final out, cheering on his dogs.
I don't want to go ahead and just dash these dreams, but I'm telling you this right now. I promise you that when the game is over, Manny, Tatis, Bogarts, they don't return to their rented condos and start looking at film on the next day's starting pitcher.
Right. Yeah, they're not going to the cage after the game. So, listen, I think these guys know what they need to do to get their body. Long time. Darvish, has done this for a really long time. And I understand, I guess he's sitting out a little bit and they're being cautious with him.
The F word.
Manny knows how to get ready for the regular season.
Yeah.
They all know how to get ready. This is nonsense. I mean, for God's sake, they all flew to freaking Korea last year, don't tell me about like disrupting spring training or, I know regular season game, sure. But they literally like flew halfway around the world in the middle of spring training last year, and they still won 93 games. I think they'll be okay taking a private jet to, San Diego for a night. They're okay.
I think so too. Did you catch up? I know you've got a million things going on in your world, Darren, and I do want to get into more SDFC, but did you catch any of your boy AC's piece, his apparently one-on-one with John Seidler? Did anything jump at you?
No, not really. I mean, I thought it was, I think I made this prediction somewhere over the last couple of weeks that he would get the one-on-one with John Seidler. So, I think, I
thought he was going to have a press conference. I mean, is that the only person you've spoken to so far?
Did you really?
Kind of.
I mean, I wasn't expecting that.
I think when I was in spring training, I mean, we were pestering the PR staff, which is what we do. And I think there was like an assumption, not an assumption. I think the consensus was that when things became official, he would speak. But I mean, I don't know. You went out with Darnay Tripp, right? Recently. Yes.
And I know he asked you the same question that he asked me, because I went out with Darnay a couple of weeks ago. And he asked me if I had, because I mean, maybe you're right. You're closer to it than I am. I don't know. But, if you're around it and you're saying you thought there was going to be a press conference, there's probably a good reason for that. But Darnay asked me a couple of weeks ago on television, if I had one question for John Seidler, what would it be? And I think he asked you the same question. And your answer, if I'm not mistaken, was about selling or right? Selling.
I think so. Yes, I think so.
Yeah. My answer was, is Shildt Seidler available? Is Shildt Seidler welcome at Petco Park?
Yeah.
So anyway, so I'm guessing then that if you and Darnay are asking or hinting around about him and being available to the media, there's probably some reason for that. It's hard in print. I saw John and Jim, especially Jim was really banging on. He's a Dodger fan, right?
He's so mad about that.
It's a good way to start the cord. I understand it. That's good on Jim. We all got to get through these 4-hour shows now, right? So
4 hours now?
They're doing 4 hours.
Wow, that sucks.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm sorry. You and I were just
better them than us, right? Everybody's doing 4 hours. I don't know what's happening here, but so I mean, listen, I think it's a good angle for those guys to take.
Yeah.
No hate there, but
no, I know.
I didn't think too much of it.
No.
I mean, what are you really supposed to learn from a newspaper article, right? Like, you want to learn who the person is, how he says certain things.
Sure.
So I think that's important. I mean, why wouldn't you make him available for your flagship radio station, right? Like, what do you?
That hasn't happened yet. I wasn't aware. I didn't.
Not that unless I've missed it. But, I mean, I think people don't want to just read some quotes. I think some people in a controlled environment, what's a controlled environment? I think people probably want a chance to, and I'm not saying you should be like cynical or negative or positive. I don't know how anybody could really take anything from that other than like whatever until you actually hear from the person, until you actually see the person, because, we still don't know jack squat about who John Seidler is, other than some quotes that appeared in a newspaper. So, you'll forgive me for saying I'll reserve judgment for when he makes himself available.
No, I agree with you. And I'm glad you mentioned the Shildt thing too, because, I was, replaying things in my head. Like, if I had a chance to speak to him, how do you ask that question? I was thinking, what would the wording be? Like, is she allowed around? Because like last year,
is she welcome at Petco Park?
Is she going to be part of this thing going forward? Because like last year when I was at spring training, she's out there with her little girls, and they're in there talking to the players. She addressed the team. She spoke to the team. When they had, I'm not sure if it was the same day as the very first full squad. I believe it was, because I was always there, that first week when everyone addresses. Last year it was Katsenda and Grupner, but she addressed the team, and she's always around Petco Park. And are we going to see her and her kids, talking to Manny, behind home plate, like we saw before, and her kids writing notes for Fernando Tatis to make him smile. So I hope she's a part of it, because I just think that there was such a bond that she had with the fans. And so that's a good question. And I did want to ask about.
And not just fans, Marty, too, but like you said, with players, like there were players and there were people that work in the front office there, you know, for whatever it is that's been written or said about what connection she actually has to the organization, doesn't take you long to find people that will say like, yeah, like she would visit us in our workspace and come and chat with us and talk to us about some of the stuff that we were doing. You know, maybe we'll get to a situation where like, you know, like Manny had to fly all the Padres out there to acknowledge SDFC. Maybe we'll get to the point where Manny's got to get Shildt tickets to the game. I hope not.
Oh wow. Oh, I hope not.
I'm just yeah,
Come on.
I hope that's not the case.
I hope not. I hope not. All right. Here, Darren, let me try something here. Okay, so today, and I know it caught you, it happened as I was bugging you to come on the show. The Padres, or your boy Mike Shildt, announced his opening day starter. Not you, Darvish. Here we go. Let me see if I can play it for you right here, okay? Here we go.
Michael King will be our opening day starter. Yep. And, you know, the reason we got to this, first of all, let's back up. We had 3 really strong candidates for this. You know, Darvish, obviously, Michael, and Dylan. And when we got the rain the day we decided to push Darvish back, I went to you and I said, you know, this can impact your opening day. And it speaks to the teammate that he is and the culture that we have about selflessness and team. And he said, don't worry about that. You know, Michael or Dylan, let them, one of those 2 guys be the opening day starter. I'm okay with it. So I really spoke well about Darvish. So now we got a 2-horse race. And then it literally fell into just the way the days have gone. You know, Michael was a little sick early in camp and got his schedule going in a certain way, and Dylan got his schedule going a certain way, and the schedules have worked out really well. But it lines Michael up, who's well deserving of the open day starter, so he's happy. We're excited for him, and it just puts Dylan on a regular rest that we want to be mindful of. Talked to Dylan this morning about it. You know, listen, there's other opportunities. Both of them can compete for starting in the All-Star game and pitching in Game 1 of the playoffs. So Dylan took it well. Thought, you know, clearly put himself in position for it. But Michael is going to be our open day starter.
Okay, good stuff, huh?
Yeah, I mean that's a solid answer. I don't really, I can accept all of that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and you know, the one thing I would say too is, you know, I do think, at least based on, I think, you know, Marty, I'm not really a Zips projection guy, but I do follow it. You know, like I do know what it is. I mean, you know, I'm not married to any of these numbers, but when you look at some of the preseason projections for either one of these 2 pitchers that he's talking about, they're virtually the same. You know, between King and Cease, I think one was like ranked the 9th best pitcher in baseball, and one was 12th or 13th or something like that. You know, so I mean, the margin is so thin. I don't think it really matters. I don't personally, and I like the way he dangled the carrot out at the end about they can compete for who's going to start the All-Star game or start Game 1 of the postseason. I think that's a pretty solid answer from Shildt wearing his St. Patrick's Day hat.
Yeah, I'm surprised you're not. His All-Star game or postseason. There you go.
Yeah,
I was a little surprised. I was a little bit surprised.
Yeah, I mean,
that was me, Dylan Cease.
I guess. Although I did have to say, I feel like I had to. Marty tweeted out today, "Good on Michael King being named the Padres opening day starter. Well deserved. I'm sure it'll do nothing to temper speculation on Cease being traded before opening day, or the worry about Darvish's fatigue." Look at you. I was like, what have I missed this spring training while I've been studying MLS rosters? What have I missed here about speculation on Cease? And I know the Darvish fatigue thing, but what am I missing about Cease?
Nothing.
Well, you wrote it.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm distracted by a text message from Peoria.
You got breaking news?
No breaking news. I was just trying to get someone to go ahead and harass you in person. We'll see.
Oh, I know who it is.
How do you know?
I know who it is.
You do?
Yeah.
Is he texting you too?
Well, listen, we don't have our same affinity on the professional basketball level, but we do on the college basketball level.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
No, it can't be the same person. I think you and I are texting with different people from Peoria, which is
probably
okay. On Dylan Cease, no, I was going to talk. I was thinking the whole trade rumor thing. I know
what is the trade rumor though. What is it? I'm unaware of it.
There's no. I think he's going to stay. Like the impression that I got when I was in Peoria was that the Padres were inclined to keep Michael King, Dylan Cease. Let's see how the season plays out. Let's see how desperate some teams are. But I don't know how you do that. My question for, I think we would go back to John Seidler would be, if you're committed to winning and you have, Peter's vision of winning and investing in this team and investing in your fan base, and you've capped season tickets and you're raising, ticket prices, how do you go ahead and trade one of your best pitchers? Like, what kind of message does that send to your fans? I mean, do you want to say right now, off the market? So I don't know that. I think Padres fans will be a little bit nervous until something happens either way, until the deadline approaches as to the future for Dylan Cease. But then again, now when you hear about fatigue factor with Yu Darvish, and there could be a delay, and now Waldron, has the oblique injury, and as you know, Darren, there's no such thing as a mild oblique injury. I would imagine that you can't have an abundance. You cannot have too much pitching if you're the Padres starting pitching.
Yeah, I mean, even those situations to the side, I never really understood it. I mean, unless somebody's going to make you an offer that is so ridiculous that you cannot say no, I just don't know why you would trade a top 10 pitcher in baseball. Again, me, big Zips projection guy. I don't know why you would do that on the heels of a 93-win season. It's never made any sense to me unless you could present it in a way that you're like, how can you say no to this? But that's never been put into the public light at all. So I'm sorry. Like, I'm keeping King, and they're both free agents. So why would one be more speculated about than the other? Same thing with Luis Ortiz. Is he gonna not win a batting title because he went to a soccer match?
Yes.
So I'm inclined to not listen. I think you have an obvious place to reset following the 2025 season just based on who's available in free agency. So I'm inclined to just be like, yeah, I'm sorry. I'll listen, but it's gonna take a lot to get me either any of these people out of here.
All in. This has to be like an all-in year for this team. And then what? Next year could look very, very, very different.
I think so. I mean, that's kind of where I sit, and you'll have to really convince me otherwise. So I want to run it back for the most part with what I had. I mean, listen, I don't mean that you go out and I understand why they don't spend $40 million in Jerks and Profar. Hey, like president of the Jerks and Profar fan club here. But even still, and I'm sure he really was looking at the picture of all the players on the private jet going to an MLS game thinking, he's such a big soccer fan. But he was like, oh man, that could have been me. But
by the way, real quick, he was wearing the loyal jersey you got him. He wore that all the time in the Padres clubhouse. He was a huge fan, huge soccer fan. I know that broke your heart. Are you okay? You gonna be okay?
Me?
Yeah.
About Profar? Yeah, I'm happy for the guy, man. He made $40 million. Good for him.
You'll see him opening day.
Yeah, but I still think the bones, like it's still the nucleus and then the foundation of a 93-win team. So what are we doing trading people? I don't get it.
I know. Anything else catch your eye when it comes to the Padres?
Not
really.
No, not really. I think it's been kind of quiet. I think it's been rather dull.
Yeah.
When Dylan Cease's beard is one of the biggest stories of camp. And, you posted a picture of a bunch of pitchers lounging in an outfield one day. I
did.
Yeah. Like it feels like we're in the dog days of spring training.
They were there watching Yu Darvish pitch the first time in Peoria Stadium. And that's when they were testing out the first, the automated ball and strike challenge thing. So that was the ultimate spring training picture. Guys just lounging in the outfield to watch.
And it's okay. Like, I think sometimes, like dull spring trainings are okay.
No,
they're not great for content.
No, well,
which is why you got to dig deep and, really hammer John Seidler for being a Dodger fan. But it's been a very slow, and I'm sure, if you're AJ Preller, like it's okay to have a kind of quiet spring training. We don't need a lot, like some of the worst spring trainings are like the more exciting ones.
I know, just barely saw Preller when I was there. Just super, super quiet, not too much from there. I think the biggest thing right there is like the bench competition. I guess I would imagine the Padres are going to give Jason Hayward every single chance to win that job in left field, or not even outright, but at least start with the organization just because of the whole respect factor. I'm not saying like he is this year's version of Nelson Cruz and Matt Carpenter, where Preller has like the veteran of respect. But the biggest thing is who is going to be number one. Who's your starting catcher? That the fact that we're talking about a battle between Luis Campusano and Maldonado, who hit like 115 last year. I mean, not the sexiest spring training.
But
it's good though.
When you played that clip from Shildt, You know, I on the rare times where I do log on to Twitter, I did see quite a bit was made, a quote from Mike Shildt about Martin Maldonado, you know, being on the same level as Yadier Molina.
Oh yeah.
When you're campaigning like that publicly for a catcher, that's probably a pretty stiff headwind for Luis Camposano. Now, again, I'm not around it as much, so I wouldn't take what I'm saying here as some sort of insider information, because it is not. But when you see that kind of campaigning, and that's what that was, like, that is public campaigning for Martin Maldonado. Don't be confused by it. When you see that sort of stuff, you're like, oh, my initial read was that's not great for Camposano. So, you know, that's just creating, based on what you've already brought in on a guaranteed deal, and now what you brought in on this type of deal that Maldonado has. And then you see that kind of stuff go public, you're like, oh, none of that feels great for me with Camposano. And I think you and I have both been fans of Camposano, but you know, we know Bob Melvin wasn't the biggest fan. And you know, even towards the end of last year, Marty, and you know, some of it was injury, and he caught Dylan Cease's no-hitter, right? I think I have that right.
Yeah, you're right.
But by the end of the last year, it was pretty clear who the starting catcher was, and the preferred catcher was in the organization. Yeah. So, you know, if this has happened again now with back-to-back managers, you know, I suspect that this probably isn't great news for Luis Camposano, but that's what I saw. When I saw that quote, I was like, oh no, like we're making the case publicly. You're not going to carry three of them. Nope. But we're making the case publicly that this guy should be on the roster. Huh. Okay.
Based on his defense. The justification is.
Yep. That is Mike Shildt, like, making the case publicly to his front office that this is what he's looking for. Yes, J Ref. Wow. Johnny's all the way. Yeah, that's what I saw. Now, again, I'm not saying I'm right. That was just my read on it. Like, when you're going to that length to make the case for Martin Maldonado, like, oh man, that can't be good for Luis Camposano, because the other dude's on a guaranteed deal, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Ugh.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, it would not surprise me at all if Campy's in El Paso. But again, take it with a pinch of salt, because I'm sitting here, you know, unshowered at 11:51.
How are you unshowered? When did you turn into John Schaefer?
Today. I mean,
really?
Just today. Yeah, it kind of was a long weekend, you know, the prep for Saturday, and then yesterday we got up early and did the bike ride. The Emo Brown doing good in the hood bike ride. So shout out to the Empanada spot in Chula Vista, and then went and watched Barcelona. Then we had a little, you know, a little fun in the afternoon, a little stuff. So I'm just dragging, just to start a week, you know, just dragging a little bit, but yeah, just on my second cup of coffee for the day.
Nice. Second cup of coffee.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I wouldn't take what I'm saying, you know, as doctrine that Camposano is going to be in El Paso, but I just don't think like the, you know,
this is his last
tea leaves aren't great. Yeah.
This is his last chance. By the way, speaking of cup of coffee, I wasn't sure what time we were going to do this today, Darren. So only half of my hair is straightened. The other half is a disaster, a frizzy disaster. I'm kind of
what's going on there?
I know, it's weird, isn't it? Yeah.
I hadn't really noticed, Marty, but now I, you know, now I can't.
Now you can't unsee it.
Yeah. Now
you can't.
Now I'm wondering which is the straight side and which is the curly side.
Well, it's like looking at somebody with a glass eye. Is that inappropriate? Like, do you look at the eye that's the glass eye, or do you look at the other one? I never know what to do. So like right now you're looking at me like, do I look at the frizzy side or the?
How often does it happen to you that you are in a conversation with somebody with a glass eye?
At least once a year.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I can honestly say I don't think that's ever happened to me.
Really?
But that's, you know, I've never really had to contemplate these things in life. Yeah. I've had some people with lazy eyes, and then I always get confused because, you know, one of the tricks you learn is when you're trying to establish a little bit of domination in a conversation, what you want to do is you want to stare into somebody's left eye, because for the most part, the left eye is considered the weaker eye. So if you're going to establish some level of domination, you want to stare into a person's left eye. I don't remember exactly where I heard this, but you know, every once in a while you come across somebody who's got a lazy eye, and if the lazy eye is the left eye, then you're like, well, now am I being rude? So yeah, but I've never had a situation, I don't think, where I've had a glass eye encounter. So,
well, I'm sure someone will reach out to us after this is posted, whether to you on Threads or on Blue Sky, and let you know what the correct etiquette is.
Yeah. Well, I'm just going to continue doing what I've done my whole life, which is just peer into that left eye to establish my dominance, which is working so well.
Okay, good. Okay, so Darren, real quick. No, not real quick. Thank you for your time. Do you have time? Do you have enough time?
I have time.
Okay, good. I took my nephew to his very first, of course, SDFC game for the home opener. And even before that, he wanted a Dryer's jersey. Now, I was trying to steer him in the direction of Chucky Lozano, right?
Uh-huh.
He's the famous guy. He's the buzz guy. And so far, man, August knows more about soccer. And by the way, by far, F1 than I do. He is, how big a star is Dreyer? If you're telling someone which jersey, he's becoming that guy, isn't he?
He is becoming that guy, and he's becoming the guy that they've really relied on since, Chucky Lozano's played a game and a third, I guess. Game and a third. So, 30th minute home match. So he's becoming that guy. He's becoming that guy around the league. One of the things about being where I've been for this start is being up in the press box. So you get opportunities to talk to some of the people who are calling the games for Apple TV and some of the people that are covering the games. This is a huge crash course for me. I don't, I've said it, like I've not watched a lot of MLS. I've campaigned more for MLS than I've probably watched Major League Soccer in my life. So, I'm learning all these teams really on the fly. But one of the things from opening week up in Carson, Marty, your favorite place, up at Dignity Health Sports Park.
Love that place. Can't get enough of it.
Love it. When we were walking out, they have upgraded it. But they, when we were walking out, I walked out with the guys from Apple TV.
Oh, really?
Who do like their main broadcast, right? Like the top broadcast team is Jake and Taylor Twellman. And they both were like, Anders Dreyer. They're like, that dude is.
He's legit. Okay.
Yeah, they seemed like really, really impressed with what it was that they were seeing with Anders Dreyer. And, so like at first I thought maybe they were, like you always want to have a little bit of insight when you're a broadcaster, you're trying to teach and educate the audience and such. So I thought maybe they were trying to do that. But the more I didn't know who he was when they signed him. I had to look up like, who is Anders Dreyer, right? And, here's a guy who's played, he scored over 100 goals in his career. He was playing, continental European football, not to get lost in the weeds, but he was playing for a team that was in Europa League as recently as December, right? So like he came to MLS and, it was a definite circle this guy. He's going to be a lot better than people realize kind of situation. So, it was cool. Like it was really, really cool. And he seems like he's, certainly now in the absence of Lozano, he's somebody who they're relying more and more on. Unfortunately, this past Saturday night, they lost another forward. I don't know what's going on there with Marcus Ingwertsen, but it didn't look good when you have to come out at halftime. So they're going to rely on him even more now. But yeah, I think he's just so solid. He's so smooth out there. He does a lot of things in some of the underlying statistics, in addition to being the leading goal scorer and having a flair for the dramatic, scoring the game winner in Real Salt Lake. I mean, it was. And what he did against Galaxy will never be forgotten by this club and by these fans. So, he's really good. He's really fun to watch, and they're probably heading into Austin next weekend. Probably going to need him more than they have for the previous 4 matches, just based on health. But fingers crossed, maybe they'll get some good news on that front as well. But yeah, he's solid. I had a chance to interview him last week.
Nice.
He's very down to earth. Pretty humble guy. They went and played at Salt Lake last Saturday night, Marty, and then they all, they got back whatever time they got back on Saturday night or Sunday. And Cholos were playing on Sunday night, and he went down there. He went down there on his own. Oh,
really?
Yeah, him and the captain of the team, Jeppe Terskov, they went down to Tijuana to go watch the Cholos match. Not sitting in some suite or being escorted down there. They just went down on their own and cruised around Tijuana for the day and went and had some tacos and went and watched Cholos play. So I was like, wow, what a cool way to immerse yourself, not just in San Diego, but the region, right? The whole region is what it's all about here with the sport. So I just thought that was a really, really cool thing that these guys did that just completely, apparently completely on their own, that they went down there just to experience what it was like. So yeah, he's been great. I think August has picked a good one.
Okay, good. But I love how much fun the buzz around SDFC has that surprised even them. Listen, I did not grow up a soccer fan, but kids like August and my nephew at Madden, they're growing up playing it. They're playing it more in schools, and now they have a team to call their own. They have the jerseys, they have the scarves. There's a generation of fans that are going to care nothing about the NFL. Good on them, but they're going to have MLS and they're going to have it in their own backyard. But has the tailgating scene, by the way, is insane. Like I was so jealous. I'm like, man, do I miss tailgating, because we've never had that at Petco Park, and I haven't seen it for Aztecs. And again, the parking lot wasn't done until recently. But it's amazing. I'm so jealous by it. Is SDFC surprised by how successful they've been, at least early on, after 2 home games, and the supporters group traveling on the road too?
I don't know how surprised they are. I think they feel pretty validated by, like they put a ton of work into trying to create this, like I don't think that they're surprised because people are tailgating, because they listen to fans who said the tailgating was a huge priority for them. Yeah. And you talk about some of the people that are out there in the parking lot, these are faces, Marty, that you will know, because
really?
a lot of them were Bolt Pride guys. Right. So these are dudes who got to know one another from their fandom of the Chargers, and now are
Alvarez.
Yeah.
Is he the king?
He was out there. I saw him on opening day. I saw him on the opening day match against St. Louis City, and I was like, we hugged it out, hugged and did all that in the parking lot before the game. I was like, yeah, it's great to see you. Like, it's just great to see you, knowing, like, not so much about the NFL, but knowing how much the brotherhood of fandom meant, right? Like, you people have become part of other people's lives. Like, you become family through sports, right? Whatever the sport is. So, they made it like a priority to say, like, we want to prioritize creating an environment where tailgating is going to be part of the event. And listening and being around it a little bit, and learning a little bit about who these people are, not just the people, the players or the coaches, but also the people who are running the club. Like, they want the matches, they want for 2 hours to be the celebration of all the other things that they're doing in the community. Right. And it's a little bit of a different, you got to rewire your mind as a fan a little bit, and it's not going to be for everybody, but, like, they want the matches themselves to be like, we do all the stuff during the week, whether, it's the players who are training or the supporters groups that are, doing their things. We just want the match to be a celebration of San Diego. So, from that standpoint, it's not that they're just trying to appeal to soccer fans. They're trying to appeal to Marty Caswell. They're trying to appeal to Marty's nephew, August. They're trying to appeal to other. Yeah, they're trying to, they're really, really trying hard on that front, which is why, for me, I kind of like, I so badly want this team to win at home that I almost sound like I'm disappointed, even though they completely outplayed St. Louis, and they completely outplayed, well, not completely, but they outplayed Columbus over 90 minutes. First 30 minutes was like, whoa, Columbus came flying out of the gates, but they've outplayed their 2 opponents. I'm like, this is soccer in a nutshell. You can totally outplay your opponent, but scoring goals is hard. And, it's just a hard thing to do. And like, I so badly want this team to win at home. They're second. They're in second place. They haven't lost a game. They've only allowed 2 goals. By like every objective measurement, they're really performing well. I think Mikey, the head coach, used a good word in the post-game press conference the other night. Maybe they need to be a little more ruthless in front of the net. And I think that was the right way to phrase it. But, like, they played so well, but I still like, I just want so badly, like to see a game close out, and have the win at home for the first time. So I'm like, I have to,
it's building, isn't it?
I know building. You can feel it in the building. Like, you can feel it. Adrian and I are calling these games in the radio booth, and like, you can feel the energy. Like, it's a powder keg and it's ready to pop, and like, you so badly want it for the people that are there, for the 30,000 plus that were there this past weekend, and the 35,000 plus that were there for the first match. And like, what's going to come. And like, it feels like a little hollow to be like, but they played great, and like, you don't want that to be some nerdy soccer mumbo jumbo, but it is true. Like, this is a team now that is undefeated through its first 4 matches ever. And that doesn't happen. It's only happened one other time in Major League Soccer history. And that was St. Louis City that did it as an expansion club in 2023. So, it's only the second time it's ever happened. They have exciting players. Fans are into it. But like, I have to like take a break at the end of the match before we start the post-game show. I had to be like, they played really well here tonight. Like, they played well. Am I disappointed with the result? Maybe a little bit. But, I think people were entertained, and I think a lot of people, Marty, get that. Like, I think that's been a great thing is like most people, whether you're a longtime fan or whether you're a newer fan, have recognized that they have outplayed the competition. It's just that the sport is sometimes goofy like that, and that, it's hard to put the ball in the net, and, it'll come though. It'll come. They keep playing this way. I think it's going to be a really fun summer.
People want to be entertained. People want events. And I'll tell you this, when you go, it feels like an event, even from something like, which we did, taking a trolley, because I will never, ever, ever drive there again. I will never drive to Snapdragon again. I've learned my lesson from going to state games and wave games, but also it's kind of fun. It is fun to be in a trolley with a bunch of fans who are wearing all their gear and they're just ready to just have a good old time and drink some beers and their Zimas or whatnot. It's so much fun to walk off the trolley and see everyone partying and having a good time and, panning out balloons or whatever. I miss that atmosphere. Like that's the one thing that I think I've kind of missed doing what I do, coming to Padres and what I did in the Chargers is you're there to work, but when you get to go there and just have a good time, man, it's awesome.
Yeah. It's like a sense of occasion, right? Like there's a real occasion sense to it. So
yeah, there is. Okay. From Neil. I know Neil has a question for you, Darren. Will this be every day? Neil, I would like to explain to you how hard it was to get a reply from Darren to get this done, including today after he said yes. I would love to, because Darren, I think you have things to say. I think there are a lot of people that are looking for additional outlets. So I would love to talk to you every single day if you would have some time, or even once in a while. Now, we had somebody else who had a question about going to their, from Johnny. This Friday is my very first spring training game. I'm a huge fan of the Padres, 27 years. I've never been to a spring training game. Johnny, it's going to be so much fun. And I'll tell you this, if you have not been to, you haven't been to Peoria, Darren, you would be shocked if you went there because they put like a bunch of restaurants in the parking lot. Peoria, like it's not what you thought before. Our familiar haunts are gone. Don't worry, Red Lobster. Actually, Red Lobster is still there. Olive Garden's still there. All the chains are right there. In Closey, come from across the street. But they put in like a Mexican restaurant, a huge Italian place with indoor outdoor seating. You'd be blown away if you go to Peoria, Johnny. If you go there, have a great time. Have a great time.
So wait, like in the actual parking lot?
In the parking lot, yeah.
Like by Salty Senorita, that parking lot, or the other side?
No, I'm talking like in the main parking lot where fans would park for the games. If you're parking on the two sides, the Padres and the Mariners side, if you go on the Padres side, there's a gigantic Italian restaurant. Oh, what's it called? Is it called North Italia? I don't even know. But there's like 3 new restaurants that have popped up. One Mexican food, at least one, if not 2, are Italian. So it's that whole scene, man. It's really different when you go out there.
What about is Preller still an Olive Garden devotee? Is he still out there cutting the line and cutting off all the 80-year-old blue hair so that he can get some breadsticks? Who
are on their oxygen tanks? By the way, I'm missing Olive Garden. This is, by the way, a streak has been broken. This is the very first time in like 20 years of me going to spring training that I did not go to Olive Garden.
Oh man!
And I don't feel right about this, but I still.
Well, good thing there's one like a mile from your house that you can.
There is. Next time I go to an event, in Sports Arena, I can go and I can take you because
same crappy food everywhere. I mean, I don't know. What do you want me to say?
I don't know. Hey, how do you like the prep? How do you like prepping for MLS?
It's a lot.
You don't want to be called an analyst, right? So you want to be called a what?
Color commentator.
Color commentator.
Yeah. I don't know if you can see this. Here's like,
let me see.
Doing like all my boards, and I have one for each game, and
unbelievable.
Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, it's definitely it's been a lot. I mean, it's like taking a crash course every single week on on what it is that these teams are all about, and like literally starting from zero with almost every single one of them. I mean, I've had some help. Thankfully, I have some friends who cover the sport, and I'm able to tap into their knowledge from time to time.
Yeah.
But it's and the game moves quick in that press box. Like Jay Riff, I see him up on the board there. Like it moves quick when you're in the broadcast booth. I look down for a second to try to get a quick note and get a quick thought in, and sometimes you look up, you're like, whoa, where's the ball? So it's been a lot. Working with Adrian's been great. He's Adrian Garcia Marquez does play-by-play on radio, and he's just he's a lifelong native San Diegan, Chargers in Espanol all the years. So it's been really fun to work with. And like, the thing you try to do in radio, like on television, you can let the pictures do the talking. So the play-by-play guy can lay out a little bit, and it's like an analyst's game on television because the analyst can tell you what it is that's happening. But like the one thing that I've been super cognizant about is not trying to get in his way because soccer's low scoring, and like I don't want to get in the way of him calling the first ever goal or the first ever go-ahead goal or the win. So like I am like super. People might have heard it this past weekend, and like I'm pretty. I think me well enough to know I'm pretty critical of myself.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh man, there were certain times where I would start a thought and I would just stop talking mid-sentence because it was like, especially a man up in that second half. SDFC was moving so quickly. I was like, I just shut up so I can let Adrian talk because I didn't want to get in the way of a potential goal call. And I felt like another one was coming. So I just shut up like mid-sentence sometimes just to let him go. So, it's a rhythm thing. You're trying to like find a rhythm with the broadcast, but it's just been a lot of fun. It's been a great learning lesson, and I've enjoyed it.
Because you don't want to end up on the alternate version of the JRIF call of the day where you're like, wow, who is this loser talking over what should have been this completely epic call, right?
Having JRIF be like, the play-by-play guy gets a 10 out of 10, but the analyst gets a 0 because the douchebag wouldn't shut up in the middle of the call. Like, what a dickhead. How come he didn't? So, I don't want to be that guy. And I probably have been over cautious because like I said, they were moving so quickly on Saturday night that, I just like kept shutting up like in the middle of a sentence because I was like, Adrian, like this is, and I'm trying to give the guy a break. I mean, can you imagine how hard it is to do play-by-play for soccer where you're describing what it is that's happening with 22 players on the field, and the field is 110 yards long and it's 75 yards wide, and you have all of this action to describe. It's it's hard. So I could see sometimes like he would be looking for his water, or he would need a break and all this sort of stuff. And I was trying to give him a break. And then like SDFC would counterattack so quickly. I'd be like, all right, now time to shut the F up here and like, let him get back into calling the game. So, it just was, there was a ton going on there. So it was, I don't know. Well, I think it's getting better all the time, but that was just a different experience for me on Saturday.
Hey, JRIF, can you stop having a private conversation on this channel?
Yeah, what is this? WhatsApp? What's going on here?
He's like doing a Q&A. He's like taking over the comments, and he's doing like a Q&A with people wanting to know what his next broadcast is going to be. It's not the same thing, I know, but it's one thing to like if you're doing a baseball game and like these players, these guys, right? But these are all new teams and all new players and really a new league that you're studying. So Darren, I've had a chance to be able to listen to you. It's been awesome. I feel like this is like the job you were meant to do, man. So good for you. Good for you.
Thank you for saying that. Like I said, there's definitely some, some things that I have to smooth over, but it's just a different experience, and Adrian's been so good. Like we talk all the time off the air too, and I tell him, I'm like, hey, like, I'm just trying to get out of your way, dude. Cause like, you're the star of this, and like, I don't want to be that, you said it. Like, I don't want to be flapping my gums and you're like, here goes Anders Dreyer. Like he's, shut up. Let the guy talk, but it's just so much talking. It is so much talking for the play-by-play guy. Even Adrian will be like, he's done baseball, he's done NFL, basketball. He did Lakers for a bunch of years. Like he's a super accomplished broadcaster, and he's like, bro, like soccer radio is one of the toughest disciplines because of everything that's going on, and you have to describe what's happening, where these players are. Are they on the left wing? Are they in the left channel? Are they in the middle? Are they outside of the 18? Are they inside of the 18? What side of the field are they on? Are they in the midfield? Are they in the attacking third? Are they in the defensive third? You have switches, you have overlaps, you have all this stuff going on. So it's like, oh man, like it's just I find myself going, wow, that's a lot of work.
Darren, 2 more things I want to get to before I let you go. And man, thank you for this has been so much fun to me. I love doing this. I'm not calling it therapy. This is awesome. I'm going to show you right now a picture of the most powerful man in the NFL, the most powerful head coach in the NFL. And just to kind of bring it all back home. Here we go. I'm going to go ahead and describe, tell us who this person is and what was happening in this picture the last time. Then let's see, Kevin O'Connell appeared in studio at the Mighty 1090 with you.
So that is the head coach of the Minnesota Vikings. That is Kevin O'Connell, Coach OC, who I believe was the coach of the year this past year.
Correct.
Who in back-to-back off seasons has made different quarterbacks an insane amount of money. He should be an agent for Sam Darnold and for Kirk Cousins, the amount of money that he's made these guys. Which has been great. And in that picture, Marty, he came to the studio with props because this was during the Deflategate scandal. And Kevin was describing for us what it was that a football felt like with the proper amount of inflation versus the improper amount of inflation. So he was trying to describe for us what it was that a football felt like, and if we could tell the difference while we were analyzing in great detail what was going on with the New England Patriots. I'm drawing a blank. I'm trying to think of the name of the Marissa Tomei character from My Cousin Vinny. Remember?
Oh, I don't even
Bill
know.
Belichick referenced her. He's like, I am not Mona Lisa. Whatever.
Mona Lisa Vito?
Yeah, I am not Mona Lisa Vito, right? Which is very funny. Yeah. But he was trying to be Mona Lisa Vito, and he was explaining, the air out of the football and all that sort of stuff.
He was there to talk about Tom Brady's deflated balls. By the way, I didn't mean to go there. Did you see the picture of Belichick and his girlfriend?
Yeah, where he's like got her on his feet.
She's like 24 years old. Like, what the? Are you impressed with him? Like, are you
like,
wow?
What do you mean? Am I impressed with him? What kind of question is that?
That's just bizarre. She's 24 years old, and now she's answering emails from players or players' parents on.
Yeah, why wouldn't she be impressed by that? This is more impressive than 6 Super Bowls.
Okay, so anyways, the reason why I said that Kevin O'Connell is the most important thing. Just think like right now that we're talking that Aaron Rodgers is potentially waiting to decide whether he's going to retire, go to the Giants or the Steelers based on whether or not Kevin O'Connell wants him to be the quarterback of the Minnesota Vikings. Like that's an amazing thing. There's so much respect for Kevin O'Connell that he literally has the Aaron Rodgers futures in his hands.
Is that true? That's a real story?
Yes,
that Aaron Rodgers wants to go play for the Vikings, or
yes, it's a 50. Like right now, ownership has said that they will defer to Kevin O'Connell. He has there's a lot of conversation in that building. I mean, they drafted JJ McCarthy, right? He was injured last year. Do you start with a future right now, or with this team? You're like, you know what, we can win. We're better with Aaron Rodgers. Kevin O'Connell. They're split in that building, but Kevin O'Connell has the ultimate decision.
Wow,
that guy, the guy who was talking deflated balls with you, has that decision.
That is wow. I understand the temptation of wanting to have Aaron Rodgers be your quarterback, but
Hall of Fame, 4-time MVP. Yep.
We also saw what Aaron Rodgers has become. And I'm not even talking about the McAfee stuff. I mean, I guess it is part of it, though. It is really part of who Aaron Rodgers has become, is that he's become not just a football player, but he's become a character. Yeah. And for a lot of people, he's become a bit of an unlikable character. But if the man if he can sling the football, I think everybody would put up with that sort of stuff.
Yep.
But the question is whether or not he can even sling the football anymore, because man, there was nobody who could sling it better than that dude. Mm-hmm. I would understand the temptation. And I want to say, I think that they might have had some sort of connection when they were both living in San Diego. So I don't know that this would be like, hey, well, I don't know him and he doesn't know me. I want to say that those two, because Aaron used to live in San Diego.
Del Mar, I think.
Right.
He lived close to Buddy Black.
And Kevin obviously is Carlsbad, La Costa Canyon High School. Yeah. But I don't remember exactly what it was. But I think that they were if it was COVID, they were working out together. Maybe it was when Kevin was with Whitfield. I don't remember exactly, but there was something there where I kind of remember the two of them, being connected in some capacity. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know.
I should check threads now in case there's been breaking news. Stuff moves quickly.
I just don't know. I just
you go the young guy. You'd go you drafted this guy first round for a reason.
Yeah, and I feel like plus hey, it's all your decision means you're going to get all the blame if this doesn't work either. So, that's a tough position to be in. I understand the temptation if it happens. That guy's he's really good, but man, I don't know. I think he's done so well with Darnold and did well with Cousins that if I believed in McCarthy, I would probably, but I don't know. That's tough.
You're gonna text. You should text O'Connell. Ask him what he's gonna do. And then you can break the news the next time we do this. Okay. Darren, my last thing, are you excited to see you're a big movie guy. Are you excited to see the live action Snow White this Friday?
I'm not. This was breaking news to me, Marty. I did not know that this was coming out in the theater. I am wrapped up into Severance. That's what I'm watching on television now.
Severance.
So Snow White. You're telling me Snow White?
I can't wait. I can't wait to go see it.
What is it? Is it a cartoon? Is it?
Okay, it's not a cartoon.
It's an animation.
Are you
is it for an adult? I don't think I'm the
Yes.
demographic.
Are you completely unaware of the story of Snow White? Were you? I know you skipped being a kid.
Yeah,
You
I
went
mean,
straight-
everybody knows
You
the story
went
of Snow
straight
White.
to teenager. So
Yeah.
you heard what happened in the story.
And what? There's like 7. What are they? Elves or dwarfs? What are they? Yeah.
Dwarfs. Yes.
Yeah, Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs.
Poison
Yeah, of
apple.
course.
True Love's Kiss. Not you, huh? All right, I'll give you a full review.
I think
next time.
it's for girls, isn't
It's
it?
not for girls.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's about 7 dudes that live with a. Never mind.
Yeah.
All right, I guess you're not gonna see it. Let me mind.
Yeah, it's not on my radar.
Okay.
I'll be spending my Friday night, Marty, practicing all the Austin FC soccer players for Saturday's broadcast at 1
Very
o'clock.
nice. And Neil wants to know if you're still doing Red Meat Fridays.
We are actually. We actually got a from Sepulveda. Shout out to Sepulveda in South Park. Got a cut of meat that I'd never tried before, and it's called flap meat, which sounds like something else, but it is actually a cut of meat that was delicious.
Not
And
sound
we
like something else.
pan fried it. We put it in a cast iron skillet, finished it off in the oven, and it was amazing.
Awesome.
Yes. So yeah, still doing that. Although my Friday nights have been less than what they used to be with broadcasts coming up on Saturday now.
Okay.
So
But I'm
have I
sure-
seen Anora, JREF? I have not seen Anora, but it's on the list of things that I do want to watch, unlike Snow White.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll try and catch up. No, I've not seen Anora either. I haven't had time. No time.
When is what was the Star Wars theory that Star Wars series Andorra?
I think it's Andorra too.
When is that coming out? That was the best series that they ever produced. That was
Andor, not Andor.
Andor,
Did
right,
you see
Andor.
Andorra? Did we see Andorra? Because of Anora, it's Andor. No, and I
Andor.
haven't
When's that
even made
coming
it
back?
through Andor. I am way behind.
What is
I'm
the matter
sorry.
with you?
I needed a break on the Star Wars. Here's a problem with Star Wars.
Not that
Okay,
show.
they had too many movies coming out at one time. They had too many spin-offs. I mean, Mandalorian. I'm not even caught up in the Mandalorian yet. I gave up after that last, but it was good. You know,
Yeah,
Grogu with Luke Skywalker making an appearance, but I was off it then. I still haven't seen Solo. There's just been too much. I found the entire Skywalker series, the trilogy, was really disappointing. And so I needed a break. Now I have time to go ahead and get back on it. So maybe
Andor, though, I think Andor to me has been. I'm with you. I thought some of the other series, the Solo movie, take it or leave it.
Oh, really?
But I thought Andor was. I mean, not just from a Star Wars perspective. Andor was just amazing television.
I heard it was
Like it's
awesome.
just
Okay.
great TV, and plus, I mean, how can you go wrong with the actors, with the cast of that? It's an incredible show. I'll watch it again.
I'm sorry. I've got one last topic. How
Okay.
excited are you that Tatis signing with Bad Bunny's agency?
I don't know, like to do what exactly?
I'm not sure. Maybe he'll be in one of his videos.
I mean, if it brings Bad Bunny back to Petco Park, then I'm all for it.
That's where I'm going.
But if
That
it's not that, then I don't understand why.
What's the
what are we doing
point?
here? Yeah, I
just
don't get
maybe
it.
some endorsements, commercials. I mean, there was a time a couple of years ago before the suspension, of course, where Tatis man was becoming the face of baseball. Right? He had Nike. He had the exclusive Gatorade. He had what's the ice cream shop? He had that. He was in a commercial with Cody Bellinger. He had the eyewear, and then all that was taken away. And maybe Bad Bunny's going to help him. Get back on that. Get back on the endorsement. So we'll see. We'll find out what happens. Anyways.
Yeah, I mean, again, like I just will be selfish here. Like let's get Bad Bunny back to Petco Park.
Yes.
Otherwise, I'm not interested.
Yeah, Dairy Queen. That's what it was. Dairy Queen.
Because Petco Park has never been quite as alive as it was for the 2 nights that Bad Bunny performed.
Is that so?
Oh, and his
You went to both, huh?
I went to one of them. But his latest is a banger too. So
Okay,
it's
of
been
course.
amazing. Yeah.
Of course. Darren, you are awesome. Thanks for doing this, man. Let's do this again.
All right.
I think
well, Marty,
let's what time tomorrow?
tomorrow actually is a production day for us with SDFC, so I will be out at their facility.
Very
so
nice.
I will have to get back to you on that one. But
Let's do it. Maybe you can do it
text
Wednesday.
me.
Maybe
Yeah, I got to go.
Yeah.
Who should we interview this week for the show? I think it maybe Chris McVeigh.
Send Darren suggestions. Darren, where are you responsive the most? What social platform? I know it's not Twitter anymore. It's not IG. You have nothing on your Instagram. So
No,
Blue
I have
Sky,
stories though. I post a lot of stories there.
Yeah, but you can't really interact. I mean, I guess you can on a story, I guess.
Yeah, I can. Lots of people have hit me up during the stories.
Oh, really? Do you reply?
Yeah.
So wait. So if I want to book you, line you up again for this live stream, I should hit you up on your IG story.
I think you know how to get in touch.
I do. Maybe we'll do. Maybe let's play by ear for Wednesday. Let's see if it works out, and we can. If you have a portion of the interview that we can play on here, let's go ahead and do it. Maybe we'll have some some reaction from what State does versus North Carolina, and we'll kind of go from there.
I'm excited.
Maybe there's more
that.
Padres news. Maybe something exciting happened with a bench job.
Yeah.
Not Andy Sheets.
Bench job.
I don't know.
Somebody.
Gavin Sheets.
Gavin Sheets. Yeah. I mean, when those are like your
I know
biggest storylines, I feel like you're probably ready for the season.
But it's good. I think Padres fans could use a nice, boring spring training, right?
I'm okay with it. I mean,
Yeah.
As somebody who doesn't have to live it every day, like I said about Jim, where I gotta, definitely make as big a deal as possible about every single thing that happens, and they'll tell you. I mean, I'm not telling. We would be doing the same exact thing for 3 hours every day. You're like, man, I need to make a big deal out of all this stuff. So, can you curse on this or what?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Say it. What do you want to say?
No, that's fine.
You good?
I know. Alex, listen, Alex doesn't even text me anymore. This is total nonsense.
You wanna know why?
Completely fake. You know why? You know what he does? Alex sends me like WhatsApp messages and stuff like that. And
Yes.
but he has my number. You can text me.
No, Alex, I understand your frustration. I can understand why you don't text. And Jay Riff wanted to go ahead and chime in here. He knows what's up. You don't respond.
I just listen. He better not be saying that because I responded to him twice today.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
All right, real quick. Let me do one more thing.
Look, here are my J Riff texts.
What?
Mm-hmm.
This is not true. J Riff, I am banning you. I'm going to ban you from this site. Okay. I'm going to give a real quick shout out to Alex because he had this really cool video of the players at Petco Park. Darren, go ahead and cover your ears. I'm not sure how loud this is going to be. This is when Tatis, man, this is when the private jet.
Tatis! Bogarts! She's ready to kick Hector to the curb.
That's the real number, not 2.
Okay, so anyway, that's the video. You can find it on my threads. If
Alex is living his best life, man. I see him out there posting all the videos from the parking lot.
Yeah,
I'm up there. We're just, what it's like, Marty, when you're up in the press box, just working hard.
I miss the press box. Can I tell you right now? I'm going to go back and watch the Mike Shildt presser in its entirety.
Go back, go get a credential. I see lots of people credentialed for these games.
No, I know, but I have to
go ask Mike Ibarra's questions.
But I have to bring August though, so that's our thing now. We might get season tickets next year. He loves it. He freaking loves it. Plus, he can be loud. We sat right next to the supporters section, and he was so loud. He was, someone would let him go ahead and wave the flag, and he wouldn't give it back. So he's that kid.
Yeah,
Anyways.
I mean, it's just great energy. I mean, it's just like the energy in the building, and those guys. I'll say, like this past weekend, they were in there like 5:30. As soon as the gates opened, they were in there playing all the instruments and the drums. So it was really cool. Like it's just like cool because even it's like the calm before the storm, and it's not even that calm. Like it's just like you're in there, like you're prepping for the game, and you got this rhythm going on, this soundtrack going on in the background. So it's I give them a lot of credit. Like it takes a lot of work to build a supporters group. I hope people appreciate like how many nights these guys took it upon themselves before the season started to like go meet in a park somewhere, to go meet in a parking lot somewhere, to just try to like get their rhythm down and get their timing down and such. So yeah, man. I mean, this is just like the first, we're just kind of out of the womb on all this sort of stuff. And it's already been a pretty big hit. So
good.
I'm excited for it.
Let's go. Darren?
Marty?
That was so much fun. Man, you didn't have no water, no bathroom break?
No. Well, I did have a little. I mean, I've had this, which is empty now. So, but yeah. And by the way, when I mute my microphone, does
yes.
You can't hear me cough, right?
Do it. Try it now. Let's give it a shot.
Okay. I had this issue the other night where I don't know. I'm still technologically inept.
You and Ted. And Ted.
I'm not as bad as Ted. I sort of went through that exercise and was like, man, at least I'm not on that level.
Okay. Well, I want to thank everyone that's joined us on this live stream in real time, and I'm sure that I'll watch us later. Kathy, Paul, Jay, Riff, Neil, so many of you, Alex, so many that I can't respond to. Great having you guys here. Make sure you hit up Darren on Threads, Darren Smith.
I'm not on Threads. I don't do the Thread stuff. I mean, that's Instagram. That's like Instagram, but like Instagram kind of diverts you there every once in a while. And every Threads conversation is exactly the same. It's like some weird open-ended question like, hey, nobody told me, why is the sky blue? And it's like, people are just looking for engagement farming out there. It's like, God, it's such a bunch of losers on Threads.
Hit Darren up on Blue Sky. You're on there. You can find him, or maybe on Twitter. Maybe he'll answer, and encourage him to keep doing this. I know you all missed him. We need to encourage Darren. We have to get after him. Make sure you tell him to respond to me in a timely fashion. D. Smith?
Martha?
Sorry about that. I didn't mean to pound the table. It's out of habit. I have to put a desk together for August.
Good luck.
Wish me well. I have to read directions.
You can do it.
I can do it.
You can do it.
All right, guys. Thank you. Hopefully, we'll be back. Hopefully this week, and we'll talk to you soon. Okay?
Talking to me?
Talking to you.
Okay.
Tell you I said hi.
All righty.
All right. Peace out, everybody. Thank you for watching. Talk to you soon.